Hello everyone, Squirrelcore here, and today we are trying out Shadow of Mordor. I'm going to make an apology right now. Still have not got a monitor whose native aspect ratio is like normal, so yeah, there's black bands on this video. I know it's going to probably end up happening. Or, I don't know, maybe when I just use the preset I use for things, it'll somehow get squished into a 720p ratio. So I apologize if the video comes out in a weird dimension. Also, this video running FRAPs with while playing may or may not strain my GPU to its limit. It's not as good as I'd like. I would love to get something slightly better in here. But you do what money allows you to do. So we're playing Shadow of Mordor. I have already beat this game once since I've gotten it, and today marks day 3 of me having it. I was really pumped for this game. I was not able to record when I first got it, and I didn't want to like go, but now I gotta wait to play it for times when I do have recorded data. So I played it, and I completed the main story on my own accidentally very quickly. However, this makes this playthrough a little bit more fun in a way, because this game has replay value in my opinion. I am very excited to do that awesome story a second time, and what really makes me excited for it is I'm good at the game now, relatively speaking, and yeah, I think we're going to have some fun with this killing spree that we are about to enter. So what is Shadow of Mordor? Shadow of Mordor is this will tell you what it is, the best thing. Middle Earth Shadow of Mordor is the full name of the game. A bunch of my friends are like, it's stupid, it's just Lord of the Rings. Why not call it Lord of the Rings Shadow of Mordor? It's like, it's not Lord of the Rings. Lord of the Rings was 6 books, 3 movies. By the way, normally I complain when a number of books does not like the number of movies based on books does not accurately represent the number of movies based to books. But the way Tolkien wrote the Lord of the Rings books, doing it as 2 movies, 1 movie per 2 books, actually works out perfectly well, because book 1 and book 2 are the exact same events, or not same events, but same time period, just different events because people are in different places. And then the same repeats with books 3 and 4 and 5 and 6. So at the end of book 5 is essentially the end of book 6, except book 6 goes a little bit further along to go into and then everyone lived about as close to happily ever after as you could really hope. But where book 4 ends is about the same point in time where book 3 ends, and the movies accurately the movies, you could not do that in a movie. So he did it the only way you could do it. And besides, like, Lord of the Rings was the first 2 books is the Fellowship, the next 2 is the Twin Towers, and the last 2 is Return of the King. It's like a part 1, part 2 thing for each of the books. But the Middle Earth is so much bigger than Lord of the Rings or The Hobbit. It has the Silmarillion, you have the Sons of Húrin in there, you have his Apodexes. Tolkien's son has basically dedicated his life just to making sense of everything his father never got a chance to publish before he died. Like, think about it. Everything about the Middle Earth was written before the First War started and long after the Second War ended. World Wars. That's an incredible amount of time. Like, those are just the two big benchmarks there that let you just, and you can see what was happening in what we now look at as history, what point in history Tolkien was living in when he was writing the books. Because by the time, and you can see odd similarities between them. Like when you read like The Lord of the Rings, in the middle, the Twin Towers area of those books, everything seems really bleak. Everything's under siege, and it's very desperate feeling to read. And at that time in history when Tolkien was writing that, Britain, the Allied forces, were losing the war. And then when you get to and then like the Return of the King, the Men of Rohan, and everything coming in, the sudden influx of reinforcements and allies that was out of desperation, really parallels with the Americans finally, after a long bloody war had claimed hundreds of lives, the Americans finally snapping because they were getting sick of being killed, their people being killed despite they had nothing in the war, and they got involved in the war. And you can see all that in Tolkien's works, but we've only seen the movies of The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings, and nobody thinks about the rest. But in between the Hobbit movie and the Lord of the Rings movies, there is approximately 70 years where nothing happened. Tolkien never wrote what happened. It's the only period in time where, according to Tolkien's works, nothing happens. There's no history here. It is in all the world of Middle-earth, which consists of everything from creation to basically the death of Middle-earth at the end of the Lord of the Rings. The entire history of the world was basically written, except for this little period of time between two books. And Monolith, the creators of this game, took Tolkien's work, and without defiling it in any way, as a huge fan of Middle-earth, not The Lord of the Rings, not The Hobbit, Middle-earth, everything. I have read so many works on that, it's incredible. I could go on and on about the lore, and I will recognize little things that like were beautifully brought in here without, like, you really see the Silmarillion. If you've read the Silmarillion, you will see it in this game. You will see it more than you will see The Lord of the Rings, because that's what this is about. Middle-earth, not some war over a ring, not the adventure of a hobbit. It's about Middle-earth, the history of Middle-earth, and changing the history of Middle-earth before Sauron would have achieved a victory that would have made The Lord of the Rings impossible. Without what happens in this game, if the events in this game had went on without the character of this game, without the hero, Sauron would have won The Lord of the Rings, the War of the Ring. He would have won. So, I just wanted to say that because this game really impressed me in that manner. Taking a drink because my water bottle can be noisy. I muted myself. So without further ado, we are going to begin, and I doubt we'll get much. This, by the way, is not going to be split into episodes, or I'm not going to split these into episodes myself. This entire series is going to be, or at least this session is going to be very organically recorded. I will figure out how to split it up after the fact. I have played this game through, so I know the extent of the content and the story. And don't expect a short series, but don't expect me to go on some epic adventure to do everything along it. I might, in between play sessions, I might do some of the. I might toy around with the Nemesis system on my own time outside of recording on this save slot, just to lean us into the advantage against the enemy. Because my recording time and my play time are not the same. I don't always have time to record, but I have time to game. Which might seem strange, but due to the situation I am in currently with where the computer is placed, I'm sure you could make sense of that, understanding that less than 3 feet from me is 4 feet, reassessing that distance, is the TV. And yes, I am Canadian, and yes, I do know what a foot is. I can use feet, inches, centimeters. I can use it all. That's because I have been in school. I took a metalworking course in which we used a lot of inches, because being Canadian, our trading partner is the United States, and because of that we are very adept to trading with them, so we learn both systems. At some point you pick up one and you operate in the other. So in industry, for example, we use a lot of use inches as much as we do centimeters, and that's just to make trade with the United States easier for us. It's the things you do to work with a very stubborn country. But nonetheless, I would like to begin this game. And when I click story mode and start the game, I'm going to mute myself, and you will hear me after the cutscene. Let's begin.
In the land of Mordor, where the shadows lie. It was here, on the slopes of Mount Doom, that the Dark Lord Sauron was defeated by a last alliance of men and elves. It is here that for 2,500 years the Rangers of Gondor stood watch, guarding against a nameless threat they had all but forgotten. And while the strength of Gondor faded, the power and malice of Sauron grew in darkness. He has returned to Mordor. Shadow, flame have fallen on the Black Gate, and no mortal man can stand in its path.
You're dear Iron. That is a perfect swing for killing chicken. Wouldn't want to hurt you. It'll take a lot more than that. Dear Hyle, the mighty chicken killer. Come on. Come on. Show your father what you have, huh?
Okay, gameplay.
You'll have to hit harder if you want to best your father.
Hard enough?
Parry, son. Don't forget to block.
Perhaps you should not forget to hit.
Stay alert, dear. Your enemy will not always be as he appears.
Easy, son. You're not a soldier yet. have your guts.
It's stabbed. Yes, I have unmuted myself. I'm going to try not to speak over the cutscenes or story, but at this point, the cutscenes and the story begin to merge in a way that makes them nearly impossible to tell them apart.
Father, they charge faster than I can strike!
Stand fast, dear hun. All at once. Stay away from it.
This ends the far from swift.
Remember, son, launch deep and cut deeper.
I keep on wanting to do things I can't do yet because of tutorials.
They're not orcs, they're ogres. Far worse. There's too many. Go find your mother. Go find your mother. Keep her safe. I'll be right behind you. Go. Am I dead?
Not banished from death.
I find this an interesting way to
See mountains white and blue, but on your road, let's not forget the love I have for you. Dance on beaches.
Happy anniversary, my love.
Alien, this is beautiful. Where did you find it?
I still have a few friends left in Gondor.
Did you talk to my father?
Yes, I did. And nothing has changed. He's still very stubborn.
I say we go anyway.
Dear, I will not come willingly.
There must be a better life than this.
Not now. But soon.
I'm just so tired of hiding here, Talion.
yeah.
We must hide now, or we are both dead. Come on.
We should have left when we had the chance.
Don't move. I'll clear a path. I'm outnumbered. Stealth is my only advantage.
Yeah, I find this is an interesting way to do the tutorial, as well as go in the background and the story of the game. Like, this way you do not find it like, oh, lots of boring intro cutscene.
Put the sword down, Ranger.
tower, the hammer, the black hand.
Father! I'm right here, son. I'm right here.
We'll be together, my love. Soon. Forever.
Come back to me, Elf Lord.
What is this place?
See for yourself.
A little bit of screen tear I've noticed.
Now, do you believe me, Ranger?
What has happened to me?
You are banished from death. Cast adrift between the worlds of light and dark. Curse binds us together within the walls of Arda.
If what you say is true, then how do we break this curse?
We find the one who cast it on us. The black
Yeah, I'm getting a
hand of
little bit
Sauron.
of screen jumpiness right now. Hopefully it won't show much in the video, but the FPS is dropping from, if I recall, what it typically is, to a little bit lower and then jumping back up. I think it's FRAPs doing that. I'm not sure what the actual screen rate is. I know it's causing it, so...
This looks familiar.
Talion killed a nobleman, Yorith. His life now belongs to Gondor.
Father, if you turn my love in, I shall swear I killed Lord Asgon when he attacked me. We shall both sacrifice our lives to Gondor.
Hopefully I don't have too many issues with this here on out, but just reforge this tower here and begin the game. Okay. So this is the world the game has. What I guess we can call your standard overworld.
So, we missed one of you at Narcos, eh? An easy mistake to fix.
You will suffer for what you've done!
And there we go.
Go back to him.
The game very naturally and without feeling gimmicky and tutorial-like gives you a tutorial on how the game works.
What do you know of the Black Hand of Sauron?
He is a fiend,
Made of thin air. What more? A slave I had. Swears he fought him. I sold him for a keg of grog to Gimu the slaver.
And here is a peek into the army screen.
That is where we have to go.
If one can trust an orc.
Trust has nothing to do with it. His thoughts cannot lie.
Oh, the beginning of the game is kind of designed to give you no real say about what you're doing. Like, the entirety of the game is go here and do this main mission, which I believe to properly do this area I'd want to go here. This confrontation, I haven't actually completed it on my other save yet either, but what we gotta do is we gotta go here actually. This isn't actually a hard trek to make. It'd be easier if I had elven swiftness.
Nothing
but
makes sense.
Nothing has changed. This is how it will be. The future and the past are linked in darkness.
I don't understand why I'm here.
And I can't remember. Let's go find the slaver. His mind may provide answers.
So
Them rumors about the Tom coming back to life are just what we need. We get to kill him over and over again. Best traitor there is.
I've actually gotten quite used to sneaking around in this game.
Well, this doesn't bode well. Don't you see? The prisoner created a distraction.
I use your human sight to track the Uruk. I see more than any mortal.
There we go.
Slay the orc captain, cut off the head of the snake, and the body will wither.
Archers.